The Imperial Army's strategic environment. The border situation compels the empire to view every nearby country as a potential enemy. The burden of garrisoning multiple fronts requires the dispersal of military forces, leading to each location being disadvantaged in terms of local combat strength. For that reason, the empire has based its national defense strategy on reorganizing its main force to be highly mobile so it can knock out each front in turn. This is the so-called interior line strategy. The Imperial Army's interior line strategy. See the maps above. The plan is to achieve victory by overwhelming each enemy individually. The empire needs to secure overwhelming localized superiority and, while avoiding critical losses on every front, the basic principle is to drive off the enemy by repeatedly winning that sort of battle. The keys to interior lines. The Imperial Army's main force packs. The empire will be victorious if it can rapidly individually take out smaller enemies closing in from all directions before becoming completely surrounded. If the empire doesn't move fast enough, it will be defeated. The strategic environment of the surrounding countries. Since the empire is too strong to take one-on-one, hostile nations aim to impose a multi-front war on it. Due to the burden of manning on multiple fronts, the empire has to stretch its forces thin. Since that means that each imperial position is disadvantaged in terms of combat strength, the other countries are aiming to speedily break through and knock out the empire's defensive lines. The overall goal is to win in each location before imperial reinforcements arrive. This is the so-called exterior line strategy. The exterior line strategy of the surrounding countries. See the maps above. The plan calls for pouring pressure on each front by outnumbering the empire's forces. The goal is to take out the empire's defensive units before their own units get taken out by the empire's main force. The decisive battle will utilize all remaining forces to surround and annihilate the enemy. The keys to exterior lines. The Imperial Army can withstand continuous combat, as well as the surrounding countries' attack poet. If the surrounding countries can swiftly break the empire's defensive lines, they will have the advantage. Conversely, if the imperial forces can hold out, there is a large risk of their main unit rushing in to defeat the attacking units before allies can arrive from the other fronts. The Republican Army begins general mobilization and simultaneously launches an offensive at the border. The Imperial Army's Western Army Group sustains losses in the early battles. What reinforcements that could be scraped together are deployed. The empire succeeds in delaying along the Rhine front, but the lines are invariably pushed back. The General Staff orders the main army to shift positions. With a few exceptions, redeployment begins. The main force of the Great Army arrives as support, which brings the fronts to a deadlock. Opinions were split on whether or not the military should capitalize on their momentary advantage, so they were indecisive. The idea of reducing the defensive burden to 3 fronts instead of 4 was just too tempting. On the other hand, this action also caused the Republic to panic, fearing the exterior line strategy might fall apart. VF miscalculation on both sides. The 203rd Mage Battalion acquires the initial operational capabilities of the Type 97 Orb. The 203rd Mage Battalion is stationed near the eastern and southern lines. The Principality of Dacia mobilizes its forces. As for the Empire, conducting the interior line strategy with its main force out of the picture was completely impossible, and the original plan was progressing far slower than it needed to be. Also, due to the dispersal and redeployment of its forces, overall combat strength was less than it would have been if they had acted according to the original plan, so the situation was a mess. Upper end th and end, bu neither side could repulse the other, so the fighting became bogged down. The Republic had no idea it would be unable to break through. Afterward. Before I greet you, I, Carlos Zen, declare. The title The Saga of Tanya the Evil. All my religion, ideology, nationalism, etc., nonsense. The whole time we were revising the manuscript they didn't ask for a single edit. How brave, am I right? Unless this was all a bad joke, or I'm on candid camera, or there was some mistake, this book should be in your hands right now. Yes, if the Saga of Tanya the Evil isn't just a mass hallucination we share, then it must really exist. And so, although I can still only wonder why, this book has gotten out and seen the light of day. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the website where I started this novel, Arcadia, http://www.mynet. The one who runs it, and all the users who left me so many comments. And to everyone who is looking forward to this, I'm very sorry indeed to have kept you waiting. I do hope you will enjoy the modernized and repaired version of this heartful story. It's okay, it's Carlo Zen's The Saga of Tanya the Evil. The following warnings are for first-time readers, so if you're already familiar with this title, kindly skip ahead because it will be long and unnecessary. Now then, first-timers. Greetings, this is Carlo Zen. It may be. First of all, this is a god, transsexual, transported to another world novel with magic, and a ridiculously overpowered protagonist. I'll say this, I slapped the title on this thing as though I was feeling hungover, or like I just pulled an all-nighter, and they made it all huge and put it on the front of the book. If nobody stops us, we should probably start worrying about the future of Japan. But this guy Carlo Zen who writes the thing is the worst kind of nobody. I mean, he'll coolly ask stuff like, why do original protagonists always succeed at stuff like domestic politics and managing national affairs? And not only that, but if you leave him to his own devices, he'll start showing off like, excuse me, have you read any books on development studies? Have you heard the latest about how a randomized controlled trial proved there is no such thing as a silver bullet? Anyhow, he's just kind of obnoxious. And he's incorrigibly argumentative and stubborn in this twisted way. Geez, it should already be self-evident that he's a good for nothing. Also, this Carlo Zen suffers from a disease that makes him scoff at stuff like happy endings and the winning is everything mentality. It makes him adore delaying action and fighting withdrawals in the mud, losing battles, and the courage and solidarity of the international community. If you only like dreams, hope, peace, and friendship, or you don't like it if the protagonist doesn't win, or you want a happy ending, you'll probably be better off in an opportunity cost sense if you skip this book. Of course, it's true that it's a problem for me if the book doesn't sell. And to you comrades who are like, it's too late for us already, and did me the favor of being tempted, welcome to this side. We are wholeheartedly happy to have you.